Hi, students. I'm Debelina, founder of Internship Bank, and we bring to you another new interview for your benefit, for you to know for you to know more professionals in the field, for you to know more persons in the legal fields, and hopefully this video will be an inspiration to all of you to continue persevering, to continue working hard in your field, and to aspire towards that dream job or dream internship that you have dreamt of. Now, there's a very special reason why we are doing this video today. It is not to highlight to you what qualities, we are looking out for interns. I've done many, many videos on that. But the idea for this particular video, and it's an absolute honor for me to do this video, is to tell all of you, many of you write to me saying how difficult life is, how many more difficulties all of you are facing simply because you come from a non-NLU background, you're financially challenged, you're first-generation professionals. We all have problems. So did I. But today, our guest of honor for this particular interview is Dr. Sarfaraz Ahmed Khan. He is my professor, someone who's taught me in school. So this video is really, really very special for me. And I tell you what, students, and I can tell you with a lot of confidence that there are not many people like Sir, who would have traversed so many adversities in their life. If you think you are facing difficulties, let me tell you, Sir had 100 more times difficulties than all of you. And yet he has risen from absolutely nowhere to a position where he can boast of so many prestigious scholarships, of holding so many prestigious academic credentials, positions. I personally know many people in the legal field, but I can tell you, I don't know anyone as close to Dr. Sarfaraz Ahmed Khan, who practically is self-made in a very, very different way than many of us can even imagine. Students, before I hand it over to Sir, just a very brief background about himself. He's been associated with NUJS for almost 16 years now, Sir, if I'm not mistaken, right? Almost 16 years.
It's almost now 21 years.
Sir is almost associated with NUJS for over 2 decades. Apologies, sir, for getting that wrong. He's been a professor and director at Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad. He's been the acting registrar of NUJS for almost 2 years. I hope I've got this right. And he's been an associate professor at MNLU. I can just go on. He's done an LLM from the University of Essex. He did his PhD from City University in Hong Kong. He's been a Chevening scholar. He's been a Michigan Grotius Research Fellow. And students, most important thing to note for all of you who think non-NLU backgrounds are a disadvantage to you, it limits your career aspirations. Let me tell you, Sir is a non-NLU graduate in law, and he did his law school from South Calcutta Law College. Sir, did I get that right, Sir?
Yes, perfect. Yeah.
You could kindly tell us firstly, maybe start off with, why did you decide to do law? There were so many professions out there where you could have easily done well. What was the particular drawing factor for you when it came to pursuing law?
Debulina, there are some personal, my family incident which happened in Calcutta. It was sometime around when I joined law college in 1993. Just before that, 91, 92, after my high secondary, that point of time, there was my father's shop was there in Topsia, and that there was some dispute. So local mafia, anti-social elements, there's a loot in my shop. So from there, is an encounter started in the real sense with the police, in the sense that FIR registered, both side peoples were arrested, went to the court, going regularly to the court. And the lawyer who was helping my father is one of the renowned lawyers in the magistrate court in Calcutta. His name is Dollar. So that was the first inspirations for me. And there was something inside background inside me that okay, can I do law and do something for providing ensuring justice, or at least I can contribute in my society. So I have very close interactions with the policing, legal systems, and I wanted to do something. So I thought that the best way could be that if I can do law. But coming from such background where uh, I'm the first boy in my entire family who did mathematics, you leave graduations.
Thank you for sharing your journey, sir. It seems almost like a story from the movies, to be honest, and you've shown that how hard work and grit can definitely lead anyone to accomplishing anything they set their eyes to. If I were to ask you who's been your inspiration, if you were to name one person, I don't know if there's just one person or you have a few important persons in mind, but who has been your inspiration, that one person or two persons or three persons who has made a difference in your life and who you would credit a lot of what you've achieved today to?
In my school days, among all the teachers who taught me, because I was for my early education was there in a school in Topsia called Monu Memorial Institutions. There's a teacher called the the Khurshid Constant. That's a very inspiring. So like when you have a 15-20 teachers, but there are always one or two teachers who change something in your life. When I joined from class 6, I joined Madrasa Aliyah. It's in Taltala. It's a Urdu medium school. And here we have a teacher called Barkati sir. And he was really inspiring to not only to me, but most of us. He was a role model. His class was always more than what he teach in the class. He teach the how the person should lead his life, and that make lots of differences in one person's life. So when we see the schoolings, is Barkati sir. When I was in law college, I was lucky enough that every places I got some mentor. So the one key faculty members who is no more now, but throughout my 5 years study, I was like his adopted son. So he used to teach a lots of teacher students on or giving tuitions or giving tuitions for the judicial examination, charging them. But whenever I went to him, so on need basis, I'm not going for tuition with him, but on need basis, whenever I wanted, I just used to go to his home, and he loved me like his own son, and he guided me whenever I have a difficulty, whether it's a contract law or constitutions. Uh, and then the life comes in NUJs. So NUJs, two persons who is really a role model for me. Uh, First contact point was Professor Panda. When I joined there for law programs, he was examination head in NUJs. And first teacher with whom I talked to in NUJs was Panda sir. So it's a really inspirational. But most importantly, in NUJs, someone who really changed my life and what I am today is Professor N.R. Madhava Menon sir. And from that point of time till now, even before Sir's left for his heavenly abode, before his death, even when I joined Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad, he was my referee. So from that point of time, whether I got shifting scholarships or I went abroad for education or went for PhD or got Michigan scholarships, even Symbiosis, MNLU Mumbai, every single place he was my referee. So his blessing was, I feel really fortunate that throughout his life, he has blessed me. So it was a great blessings for me. And so that one person's, it's unparalleled, Menon sir, contribution in my life. Whatever I am today as a teacher, it is because of Menon sir.
Wow, sir, you got me a little emotional. Emotional because even for me, Professor Panda was the first person I spoke at NUJS, right? And Dr. Madhav Menon, he's changed your life course. He's changed many, many life courses. So many law students. But there are two important things which I would like to highlight to my viewers today. First, for students, a message for students. Go and find that mentor for yourself. That mentor can really make a difference in your life, especially if you do not have the guidance that you would need to make your path in this legal fraternity. How do you get a mentor? By having that hunger for success, by showing that you're willing to do anything legal, mind you, not illegal, anything legal to foray your path into the legal arena, right? So go and find that mentor. And for senior professionals, my message would be that please give that time. Someone made that time for you. Someone took that chance on you. Like Sir has highlighted, there were teachers who believed in him, who treated him like his adopted son, as he puts it. Make that time. It's mentoring on technical points of law. I'm sure students are getting enough of that in their law school. But as Sir said, the teacher that made the most impression on him during his school days was a teacher who gave him life lessons, who talked more than technical skills, who was able to connect with their students, not just on technical points, but teaching them what life has to offer and how that student can maneuver and have certain values that would help the student distinguish himself or herself as a good human being. I think that's very, very important. So my next question, I know I'm taking a lot of your time, but since I've got you online, I just can't let you go so quickly. So if I may ask you another question, sir. We've seen, sir, certain qualities from what you have been talking about, namely hunger for knowledge, hunger to achieve. I think that takes one, right ahead in the right direction from the very start. The idea of not being too rigid, meaning being a little flexible. You know your end goal, but being a little flexible in terms of adapting your path to achieving that final goal. You didn't know that NUJS would happen to you. NUJS didn't even have a brand name. I'm assuming you didn't know Dr. Madhav Menon until you joined NUJS. So, but you were still open to trying it. Even so was I. NUJS, I'm the second batch of NUJS, and NUJS did not have that brand name. I took a chance on my career, right? We were open to new opportunities. So we are seeing hunger, be a little flexible, adapt to new situations, don't think too much. What are the other qualities you think that students, especially from non-NLU backgrounds, from lesser known colleges in India, would require to maybe make up for that little gap they are suffering because they come from non-NLU background? So,
Debluna, I have seen the students in traditional colleges while teaching for some time in my own the alma mater, South Carolina Law College. I used to go there to teach evidence law earlier. Now time does not permit. I have seen Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad, very closely working there as a director for 2 years. The it is the student which save the institutions. So the qualities which the student make the institution differences, those are basically one which are uncompromising is hard work. There is nothing substitute of hard work. Then perseverance, just making own goal and then working towards that goal. You fix your own goal. Any student, if they have to achieve something in their life, they have to fix the goal, today and tomorrow, it will definitely come. We don't know how the things will one can achieve, because when you work hard, some path normally it's open up. So there will be some ways in which you can find some opportunity, but you have to walk. You cannot sit idle. So you have to work hard. You have to fix your goal. You have to walk on that goal. You can achieve. And then for non-NLU students, the major difficulty which arises, if I have to compare my undergraduate days and the undergraduate days which I have seen in NUJs, the non-NLUs or traditional colleges, colleges per se does not provide that much exposure. Uh, in, in the culture of national law schools, that exposure is inbuilt, sending for internships, participating for programs when your fellow students or your seniors are attending, going for moot court, debate competitions, some workshops or some kind of vocational training, or maybe summer school abroad. Now, this developed a culture among the students where one students know that my senior has went last year for this summer school in the UK or that particular colleges, they will follow the path. In the traditional colleges, there's a lack of these exposures. Now, how to achieve? Now, you cannot change the institutions in one day. It is the students who themselves has to develop those culture. So that means they have to keep their eyes open, see how they can get those exposures, because the institutions where our student goes is not it's available to other institutions also, it's available to non-NLUs also, traditional colleges also. In India, among the law colleges, there's a huge hierarchy. So we have one set of the law colleges are there with NLUs. Then the second sets are there which are not NLUs, but they are also a premier law schools in the countries. The Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad, where I was the director, the institutions per se try to give lots of exposure and opportunity to the students. But then the third categories of law colleges are there, where these are traditional law colleges are there, where there's a lack of exposures. And the major challenges comes for students from these backgrounds. So the one set of challenges are there for the non-NLUs who are studying in a premier law school. The students are brilliant. It might be they are just 5-7 marks lesser than the top law school students and did not get chance. That does not make them different students from the NLU students. They're brilliant students, and they are doing wonderfully. I've seen my 2 years tenure with Symbiosis. We have done excellent work. Our students are almost every week I used to get some good news from the student that they are a winner or runner-up in some competitions. So these students, whether they are in the non-NLUs or the traditional colleges, my impression is if there's a little push, if it is structure is there under which they can be given exposures, that make lots of differences. But whatever you do, if that hunger is not in the inside of the students, if the students they are not taking those challenges, if the students are not hardworking, there is no. I remember my teachers again. Justice A.M. Bhattacharjee, he used to teach in NUJs, and his one quotations which always we remember: shortcuts are wrong cuts. So in life, there's nothing called a shortcut. If the students are working hard, they can achieve anything in the life, and that's possible. And the students from non-NLUs backgrounds doing wonderful. You can see from the Symbiosis alumni which are there in many parts of the world. Even NLU's bigger challenge, the challenges the NLU student will face tomorrow, they will face from these kinds of private institutions which are premier law schools. The many private institutions, they get the students, those students who do not got admissions in the 4 or 5 top NLUs, they prefer the private law school. So in the real sense, the most of the, now we have 22, 23 NLUs which are there, and the number are increasing every year. The major challenge is to upgrade their own standard. So I'm not saying that might be 2, 3, 4 law school having excellent infrastructures, excellent facilities, excellent these exposures, but not all NLUs in the same way. So there is a need for having some kinds of a similarity or availability of those exposures in all NLUs, At the same time, the private institutions which are there, they are doing their best. Being private institutions, they will the management will put much more effort to facilitate the students comes to the light. But the major challenge for if the government of India really thinks, or any government in the country, they thinks that the legal education should be improved, the quality of lawyers should be improved, the quality of judicial dispensations of justice system shall be improved. They have to focus on traditional law colleges, because still the people who are becoming judges in the magistrate courts, the people who are becoming assistant public prosecutor in the magistrate court, or people they are coming from the traditional colleges.
You said so many wonderful things that I'm now going to pick on a few things and carry it forward for my next videos. And you will often now hear me saying shortcuts are wrong cuts. I'm going to take it from late Justice A. Bhattacharjee, sir. I absolutely identify and believe in the saying that shortcuts are wrong cuts. So students, a few things. I'll quickly summarize what Dr. Ahmed is trying to stress out here. Hard work, the more you work hard, the luckier you get. I think that's what Sir is saying. You know, don't say someone is lucky. Don't look at the obstructions that are on your way. What you should ideally be looking towards those obstructions is thinking of them as challenges. The joy you will have by overcoming those obstructions, those challenges, will be immense. So just remember, the more you work hard, the luckier you get. Be patient. Just because you study for a few days, just because someone else gets their results quicker, does not in any way mean that you will not achieve those results. You will not get there. So have the patience, have hard work, have patience. Sir did not establish himself all in a day. I'm sure he didn't. It's been a process. It's been decades. So have that dedication, have that patience. He also stresses that it's important to set goals and work towards them. So don't make life what it is that it happens to you. By that I mean, don't be reactionary in your approach. Tell life, direct your life in a way that you would want your life to be. So take control of your life, set goals. Set goals for a year, break them down into smaller goals over a period of 12 months, and make sure every month you are taking 2 tiny steps closer to your annual goal that you've set to yourself. That way, you're not allowing life to decide what will happen to you. You are taking control and you are making sure that you are the deciding factor of how your life should be, right? And most importantly, I think Sir also very nicely put out there that it's not just about what non-NLU students can do to make themselves better lawyers. I think, Sir, I personally think that it's so wonderful to have so many non-NLU universities sprout up, because that's a call for action on all the top NLU colleges, that be aware there is competition out there. You cannot be lax idle. It's time that you develop your own infrastructure. You match up to the efforts that are being provided by the many private institutions that Sir just named. Last 2 questions. I promise you, not more questions than 2. I'm promising that to you on video, so I'll keep my promise. What do you have current projects where you think you would need interns who could help you out with? Not just yourself, sir, because I would be also interested in knowing if students can make themselves available to professors like yourself who often write books and are involved in, presenting workshops. Is there any live opportunities that student could perhaps apply to you for, or to other persons like yourself, sir?
Yeah, thanks for asking these questions, because I was waiting for sharing some my experience of the past, how the students can change the life, or how they can impact in the life of the common people. I just share one example of my NU with my NUJC students. Long ago, it's almost 8-9 years ago. I used to give lots of training programs for NGOs workers, childline, and police, judges, etc. So I went to Murshidabad district for the training of all childline partners because childline they run 1098 call centers, and they provide services for the children in distress or children in need in different places. While giving the training, one parent came at that point of time. They came to know that some people came from Calcutta to give training, so their understanding might be they are very resourceful, or they know the police, they can help them out somewhere. So after the training, they were waiting for whole day for me. So once the training is over, almost at 5, then a lady from a village of Murshidabad, she said what's the issue, and she narrated an incident. So touchy or pathetic issue. This is an issue of trafficking. So her daughter was trafficked. Someone came from Murshidabad to Uttar Pradesh, from Uttar Pradesh to some other places. And initially they were able to contact over phone. Later on, they are not able to contact over phone. I promised her that whatever possible, I will help her. Next day, I went to her home. I seen the home. I seen the documents where they were running from pillar to post to registered FIR and filing the complaint, etc., or taking some action so that the girl can be rescued. So in that case, next day I came to NUJS, I have class, and in my CRPC class, I asked the student that I found these kinds of case. Is there any students who can help her in these situations? And I forget the name of the students. I got 2 volunteers. Immediately, the first 2 hands were raised. I called them after my class. We had a meeting. I connected them to a child in Murshidabad. They drafted later, and we know our students, all young people, they are so energetic and so powerful also. They have connections also. So they immediately written an excellent letter to the SP, etc. I given the guidance. Basically, they have written it. I was just supervising them. And they were directly communicating with the family members and the child and people in Murshidabad. And believe me, the girl was rescued from Gujarat. She was trafficked from Uttar Pradesh to other places, and then Gujarat, she was in remote village. She rescued and brought back to the Murshidabad. This is small help with the student do. These are this is lifetime satisfaction. Even if we can do once in our life, we can think our life was successful because we are able to help someone. So the student helping or working during the student days, it's only beneficial for them also because they're getting the knowledge. At the same time, they can make difference in the life of the other people who are downtrodden, who do not have access to the justice, who cannot access to the judicial process or legal system. So I think almost every professor needs support in the sense of doing some research work. A professor like me, when we do some, we are associated directly with the field, with the NGOs. We do require some kinds of a support, and not me, but the organizations require some kind of support. Many organizations looking at us that what kind of support we can provide. And believe me, our student has potential to make a difference in the life of the people who are downtrodden, who don't have access to justice. And definitely those who are interested to doing whether it's academic work, writing, doing the research work, or doing some kinds of a joint project, or supporting some organizations through us, all these are possible. So it's not possible only with me, but that possible with most of the faculty, the teachers like us. And I also believe that there's no shortage of teachers like me who gradually associated with the field, who work in the market, which work with the industries. So I work in a particular kinds of industries. There are corporate lawyers or teachers who teaches in corporate law. They are associated with the different kinds of industries. But there are always in most of the NLUs, the teacher has that practical exposure, sir. Because we always work in that way so that we can in return make our class more interesting. So this is beneficial. Everything what we do, we use for the class purposes at the end. So yes, I do agree that there is always an opportunity for the student, beats me or beats other teachers. They can work with us, but it must be very well defined work. It's not that simply taking someone as intern and what work we are doing. So because when I take someone's intern with me, I specifically ask them how many hours every day you can devote, how many hours in a week you can devote for the work, because it's not only for the purpose of giving them a certificate of internship. So basically, they must learn something in the process.
So very well said. Thank you for that. So two things coming out of what Sir just said. Firstly, you as students, none of you are too small to make a difference. Look at the example Sir gave. I mean, who thought that students of a particular institution, their draft letter would set the system into action and, rescue that young girl, right? So firstly, remember, students, we all often think that what can we do? We are a mere student. We are a mere junior professional. Take that out of your head. Absolutely take that out of your head, because when you come together, you put in the effort, you put your heart and soul out there, results will come through. Be patient with it. So you're not too small. The second thing, sir, really very well put it together is, I often have students reach out to me saying, ma'am, I come from a non-NLU background, not many opportunities for me. There is nothing happening in my university. To all those students, I say, create your own opportunity. It is so important to take a step back and see, okay, if top law firms are not giving you internship opportunities, what are the other ways in which you can utilize your qualities? Approach your professors. Like Sir said, most of the teachers will be involved in a certain kind of a research project, will know some NGO that might need help. Go through them, help them out, Last question to you, sir. So from your and my experience, we all know that bad times are temporary. It's just, some bad times take longer time to become positive and others take short time. But the long point cut short is they don't last forever. You know that, I know that. We just need to make the students believe it. What is your parting advice to students trying to get a job in the middle of this pandemic, and any other advice that you have for them, for the penultimate students as well as students who will be graduating this year?
I believe everything happened in life, it happened for good. So be positive, even if you're not getting the job, you try for getting the job in a place, you will getting the job. But who knows, tomorrow you will be the Solicitor General of India. Tomorrow you will be the Advocate General of your state. So whatever is there, don't sit idle and then look for a job. Do some work at the same time. Life is every day we learn something. So you are law graduate, you have right to practice in a court. Go to the court, get experience, apply for job will come. That's not the big thing. But the thing is, what you are learning in the processes. If so, nothing can stop you if you are really dedicated, and might be there's something better for you is happening.
So well put. And to tell you, all these interviews, I don't know how many people are watching, but it's always a learning point for me. I do these interviews very regularly, and I am learning, and I hope my students also learn through these very valuable input you've given. Don't sit idle. It's good to have some balance in your life. Continue with your hobbies. Even doing your hobbies doesn't mean you're idle. You are pursuing something. It's not just enough to apply for jobs. While you're applying, simultaneously continue your growth. It is so important not to stop learning, not to stop reading, not to stop working. I think that is what is going to hold you in good stead during this pandemic. So don't always focus on the positives. Even if something dreadful awful has happened to you, as Sir has rightly put, even I believe this, Sir, that whatever happens, happens for a reason, happens because the Almighty is trying to push you towards something else, and His plan, no one's plan is better than His plan for your life, for you. And I have immense faith in that as I say that, and I mean that out of every genuine feeling of my heart. So it's been wonderful to have you on our YouTube session. Many thanks again for agreeing to be part of Internship Bank's YouTube video series that we do, and which we hope our students find helpful and informative. Thank you. Thank you.